Hello everybody, it is July 30th, 2015, and this is the Metagame Network. Tonight we'll be doing 5D&D. With me, our wonderful GM, Mr. McCoreman. Say hi, buddy.
Hello, everybody.
That's right. You got Bonsai161 playing Frath, the human druid.
Did you really have to stop and think about what year it was?
Yes, I did. I'm really bad at that. But say hi, Devin.
Hi, Devin.
Also, we've got Ladriel, the Elven Ranger, played by Arkangeloflite.
From my to declare.
Yeah, and he's wearing a wonderful blonde wig, which makes him look fantastically ugly.
That's his normal hair.
Oh, you got your hair dyed and you grew it out crazy?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
I grew some ears.
He
too,
didn't
man.
dye it.
Like, I concentrated really hard and it was just like...
It was kind of like a Sailor Moon transition? Is that what's going on?
Oh yeah, dude, I am gonna moon this shit up.
Right on.
I don't think you can do that and not violate the TOS.
I know, right? We really shouldn't do that. We also have Yazata Irvin, the human Tempest Cleric, played by Gerhalte. Yeah, that's right. I had to put the E in there for you, buddy. And of course, I am Zenyasa, the Dragonborn Fighter. I'm also FIGBird. Welcome to the show, guys. Why don't we go ahead and get a little bit of a recap where we were, Mr. McCoreman?
Well, last week, actually all the way back to the previous week, we found this pretty crazy tree out in the middle of the forest, or out in the middle of a clearing. It was standing on top of a bunch of bodies, and actually looked like it was stealing energy and growing and becoming powerful off of the blood from all the dead bodies that it had killed. And our party went out to address the tree, and found that it actually wasn't that evil of a tree, just that it wanted to live and it didn't really know what was happening.
Right.
In the end, it actually attacked our group, and heroically they fought back and ended up killing it. As it finally died, it broke apart, and what we found inside of it was a rather large heart that looked quite human-like, but quite big.
Oh shit.
And I believe it was either Yazata or Frath that actually picked it up and preserved that.
I'll tell you right now, I did not pick it up.
Yes. Then the party was quite tired, and
Yes.
as they were trying to figure out everything after the tree had fallen, Zenyasa actually passed out from exhaustion. They went back and slept for the evening, and when they came back, we needed to retrieve Frath's scimitar from the ground, and we found yet another living thing attached to it, and it was holding it and trying to pull it into the ground. They were able to pull it out and found yet another small tree with another small heart inside of it, and I believe that one Frath does have.
Yes.
Correct, yes. Okay, so then Yazata has the larger heart, is that correct?
I showed it to him, but
oh, you
I
showed
don't
it.
know
You
if
were
he
holding it.
kept it.
Okay, yeah, you have both of them. Okay. And at the end of the last session, we had found that at the far edge of the clearing, there actually were the tracks from the raiding party. And as they went to look at it and investigated it, we found that there was actually quite a notable number of fewer footprints. And the cart tracks were still there, but it looked like there was a notable decline in the number of people that were still walking behind the cart. And that is where we left off. I believe you were saying that we were going to want to continue along the path until we went into the mountains, and it looks like as we're looking at the way the cart was going, it's actually making a beeline for the mountain directly in front of us.
If I recall correctly, we were discussing like potentially whatever they have is what is causing the disturbances, and therefore Frath was interested in following. And of course, Archangel, also known as Ladriel, was like money, and I'm not exactly certain why Yazata is still with us, but he's with us. That's good.
Well, I shared the money.
That's right. You shared the money. I don't think I wrote that down, but I also don't think I care.
Money.
There was a
that's right. It was like
amount.
34 copper, and I was like,
Yes.
just buy me a drink at the next tavern. That's what I had said. I remember now.
That's what I had said.
That is where we're at. So, unless the party wants to do anything,
I believe the plan is to follow this track unless we have some reason to stop.
We do not.
We do not. There was one other thing, is that the Cro-Magnus did join the party again after the tree had been felled, and is sticking around the good cleric Yazata and using him as a perch more often than not.
Yes, we have a bird companion.
Yazata's shoulder is covered in bird poop.
Pretty much. Luckily he's wearing a white cloak, right? He's wearing a white cloak, so it's totally okay.
Smells like bowels in here.
All right. Do you guys... I take it we want to continue along the path and see if we find anything.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any spot where it looks like it's a good place to start scouting ahead, we might send Ladriel out, but otherwise we're just kind of following the tracks and being cautious of our awareness.
Okay.
Or our surroundings. We're not cautious of our awareness, we're cautious of our surroundings. Not quite the same thing.
Yes. Okay, so as you guys are walking along, the mountain is getting larger ahead of you. It's getting to be somewhat dense forest. The path it looks like it actually has moved on to more of a pre-made trail. The cart's able to get through, but in a few cases you can see the cart's actually scraped up against a tree here or there. But there's a solid 6-foot wide trail almost along the entire trail you guys are going. And if you would like to try to somebody ahead, they'd probably be running most of the time because you guys are going at a pretty good walk.
Okay. So does it seem like the cart's going pretty quick then, or can we tell?
It looks like you may be gaining some time based on the tracks being a little bit newer, but it looks like they're still a ways ahead of you guys.
Okay. I think that it would be worthwhile. So
if we remember, they left about half a day ahead of you guys because you guys went back in Esalen. You guys ended up sleeping all through the night, and then we had to fighting the tree. We actually had to wait another overnight while we were.
Right. We're trying to catch up for lost time because of that, as far as I understand. But Zanias is going to come to Eladriel and Eladriel. I think that it might be worth sending you out a little bit of ways. It might be a good time to scout what we have ahead of us. We can break camp for a short time and make ourselves some food so that you can return. We can eat, be ready, and then go out to whatever you find.
Alright, how far out do you want me to go?
Maybe a few hours. I don't think it is worth us going too far, but I figure you seem to know these areas pretty well. It might be worth the time invested into looking out for it.
And what am I looking for?
Anything that might be danger, or maybe signs of where they're going. Perhaps we can cut them off, try and make up some of the time we lost last night.
Alright. You know, in this terrain, I can guide us through twice as fast.
I was not aware of that.
We haven't quite hit the mountains yet. You're probably near the end of the day, you'll hit the mountains.
Once we hit the mountains, I can guide us twice as fast.
That is good to know, but I still think it might be worthwhile seeing what's ahead of us. What do you think, Frath and Yazata?
I think Eladriel's hair looks very pretty today.
Oh, I do declare.
Yeah, a couple hours of scouting sounds good.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't overdo it.
Yeah, don't go out too long, but I will prepare us some food for when you return.
Yeah, hopefully it's not gone when you come back. That would suck.
Right. So I think that's gonna be the plan. You know, I'm gonna prep ourselves some foodstuffs while we send out the scouting awesome ranger to, learn about the surroundings.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to go, maybe hour and a half out, hour and a half back.
Okay, so the rest of the party is going to be hanging around, just prepping.
I think it'd be better to go like an hour out, hour back, but that's my thoughts, at least.
Okay. So if you guys are going to do anything, let me know. Otherwise, Eladriel. So as you are scouting, are you going to be trying to be overly stealthy? Are you going to be trying to run the whole way? What's your plan there?
No, I'm going to try to be stealthy and try not to be seen.
Okay. Why don't you give me a stealth roll just to throw that in the books? Was that a groan or?
That's a 12.
Okay. All right. Okay. So as you are scouting up ahead, I take it you're staying just a little bit off the path, or you're actually staying on the path where the cart's taking?
No, I definitely. I'd be staying off the path and just trying to avoid the main roads, not leave tracks myself.
Okay. Go ahead. So as you're going along, you really haven't found anything. About 45 minutes out. All right, go ahead and give me a perception roll.
20.
Okay. So.
Wait, hold on. Sorry. Yes, still 20.
Okay. So you hear what sounds sort of like singing a little bit. It's really, really far off, but it's definitely in line with the way that you're walking along the path.
How does the singing make me feel?
It makes you feel homesick.
Okay.
And you start, as you're walking, you start to pick up that there's, it actually is singing in Elven. It sounds like it's a little bit of a different dialect from what you're familiar with. Some of the words aren't quite coming through, like you're not quite understanding them. You have to really think about it, but it definitely is Elven.
Okay. I'd like to stealthily get closer.
Okay. So as you are walking up along the path, up ahead you start to see what looks like a dark purple castle that's sticking out above the trees ahead of you.
Okay, is the castle on a hill? Is it in a valley?
Well, so it looks like, actually not as a large castle. Sorry, you're seeing like the top of a tower, sort of like a lone pointed cylinder that's sticking up above the trees. Like it's actually in the forest with you.
Okay. So kind of just coming up on it. Is there a clearing? What's the closest I can get without actually breaking from the clearing?
Well, as you start getting closer, you definitely don't see any sort of clearing at all. And you start to notice that the trees look like they're kind of bending away from the castle near the top. So the trees that you're standing next to, as you look at it and you look up, it starts to slowly bend backwards away from the way you're walking.
Okay. Do I get any sort of feeling of dread, or is there anything just warding me off from this place?
No. Give me a second. What type of check would that be? That would probably be an intuition or insight check. Yeah, give me an insight check.
So 7.
You actually think this is kind of friendly. You remember a tune similar to the song you were hearing as something that was sung around you when you were a child. You don't quite remember all the words, but you do remember it as something that was sung during times of leisure and relaxation.
So, I'm definitely curious, but is there any? Do I feel any sense of urgency to approach, or
no?
Or it's just kind of neutral. Okay.
Just neutral.
All right. So I would like to retreat a good distance from that, and then make haste back to the rest of the group.
Okay, sure. So you're about 45 minutes out when you started to notice all of this. You probably could make it back in about half hour. If you wanted to run back onto the road and just run it the whole way, you could do it in about 15 minutes.
I'll take the half an hour just to avoid the tracks.
Okay, yeah, sure.
So he's coming back a little bit late, or...?
No, he's actually coming back early. You're expecting him to be about 2 hours out, and he's going to be arriving back in about an hour and 15 minutes. So, go for it. You make it back. Nothing really crazy has happened since then.
Okay. I would like to talk to Frath. Hey, Frath, what do you know about these woods?
There's got a lot of trees in it.
Have you ever been to this area before?
Not that I can recall distinctly, but I do tend to just sort of wander.
And at this point, I like to draw in the other two for the conversation, but I'm still just kind of talking to Frath. Frath, there's something up ahead that I can't quite explain. I heard singing to something very close to my native tongue, and there seems to be a tower, but the trees are bowing away, almost like they're trying to avoid being close to it. Do you know what would cause that?
What is your native tongue?
Elvish.
Just Elvish? So there's singing and it's pulling trees in and it's an Elvish.
No, the trees are avoiding.
Or avoiding, sorry, bowing out. Okay.
Yeah, they're bowing out.
Can I roll to see if that sounds familiar at all? What is that? Perception?
That might be a nature check, actually.
Nature? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it something we can all roll, or just him?
You guys are all in the conversation, you could.
So I got a 16.
Huh, I have no fucking idea.
Okay.
But that's not surprising.
Seems like must be a chipmunk.
I'm going to offer Eladriel some of the food that I have warmed up again. Eladriel, as I promised, here's some food for your break.
Frath, you would know that trees, that if somebody would sing to the trees, they could encourage them to make space for something, or they could ask them to move out of the way, and depending on the level of magic involved, they would have a varying degree, whether they actually animate the trees and have them move out, or whether it's more of a natural thing where they would just stay in place and not have to move at all, but would just gently shift themselves.
Okay, I'll just say,
yeah, I mean, trees can be persuaded to do things if given the correct circumstances. The Elvish people are quite familiar with the forest. It is not completely surprising. I would imagine that there are probably elves in this forest as well. But need to roll to check for that?
Sure. Give me a nature roll on that.
I'm going to start practicing my form
11.
while we sort of wait.
Right, yeah, you think elves definitely are in this forest.
Okay.
Do you know what type of elves?
Probably ones that live in trees.
This wasn't a tree that they were living in. This was a tower. I mean, that's what I found out.
Of trees.
And the color of the stone wasn't the normal color of stone. It was a dark purple, almost like I don't know, almost like grape, the juice from a grape that's been squeezed.
20 total to recognize that stone? With a nature check at least, so if it's magic, it's no good, I guess.
You would not know what it is.
Okay. I've never heard of such a stone.
Alright, well, that's what I found. And then I go sit down and start eating whatever it is I was handed.
We do not know if the elves in these woods would be hostile, we should proceed with caution.
I think that is a very good idea, especially considering the trees might get up and attack us like the other one did. Furthermore, he mentioned a stone tower. Do you think it might be natural, or do you think it was something otherworldly? Perhaps magical?
Most stones do not grow into towers, but I suppose one could probably, like, build a tower from the stones.
Well, I wasn't there to check on it, but it is possible that something could be erected magically, could it not?
Sure,
Erected.
it's possible. Fully in character, Eduardo.
Alright.
Well, let's take a few more minutes to allow Eladriel to consume the food, and then we shall move out with caution, yes?
Sure.
Okay.
I can eat on the go.
Then I'm going to start, making the camp disappear, then.
Alright. So you guys pack up.
Yep.
And how are you guys planning on actually getting there? Walking down the path, following Eladriel? Or...
I mean, he just did some scouting. I'd imagine he'd have a pretty decent path to move out with, so we'd probably follow him.
Okay. I'm just looking for one thing, sorry. Okay. Yeah, alright, it's there. Sorry, it's just been... there we go. Okay, so as you guys walk out, after walking, following Eladriel for about 45 minutes or so, go ahead and give me a perception roll, everybody.
For all of us, or just...
Yeah.
Okay. Totally... Oh, that's a good roll.
Eladriel,
with that one.
You can have advantage on this one.
I don't know if I'll need it, but...
We're at 23 total.
Alright,
22 total. Fuck you and beating me by 1.
Yeah!
through
I see it
the
first.
through looking up through the canopy ahead of you, you can see what looks like a purple spire just sticking up above some of the trees. It looks like it's still probably a several hundred yards ahead of you, but it's not really... It looks like it's right in the middle of all the trees. It's just rather, it's a really tall purple tree. Is what if it was? It actually was a tree. It's just a really tall tree in the middle of the forest.
Okay. I don't know how well you guys know trees, but they are not normally purple.
So wait, the tower isn't stone, it's actually a tree?
No. If it was, sorry, if it was just if it was green, it would look more like just a tree in the forest. But you can see
It wouldn't
right.
stand out if it wasn't purple, is what he's trying to say.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
That's not a real tree, Prath.
Yeah, thanks. I was trying. You know what? Never fucking mind. Let's go.
So the question I have is then, do we wish... Actually, hold on. Are the tracks aimed right at this tower?
I mean, you guys aren't too far off of the actual trail, and it looks like it's just making a beeline straight past the...
Well then, never mind. I'm not going to say what I was about to say, because if it's going there, that's where we're going.
Yep.
Let us make some haste.
Alright.
So what, you guys just want to knock on the door and see if anybody's home?
No, I don't see that being a good idea, but we should probably get closer so that we can figure out what is going on. There's no reason for us to go slowly, at least until we get closer to where they might be able to see us.
Well,
It seems like there's going to be a tree land, yes?
The trees and throw a rock at the door, see what comes out.
Suppose that is possible, but I think it might be altogether better for us to get close and then do a little more scouting, yes?
Whatever you say.
So, yeah. Unless
Okay.
somebody has a different thought process there.
Alright, so as you guys are walking closer towards it, you do start to notice that the trees are notably bending away. But, I mean, it's not like a sharp bend, it's more just like a gradual pullback from that. Okay. And as you get closer, Eladriel, you notice that you no longer hear any singing. Previously, you would have heard it by now. And you don't really know what's going as far as that goes. As you get closer, are you guys planning on stopping at any point, or are you just going to be walking?
Well, I imagine we get close to like the tree line where it starts to break, and then we can use some time to look around.
Okay. Well, as you get closer, it actually looks like probably about 100 feet out, you see just a really dark patch in the forest ahead of you, and you notice that all of the trees are just bending away from that spot, and you don't really see any clearing. You see that there are trees just growing there, but they're just bending as they grow up.
Okay.
It looks like that is, if you look further up, right about there is where you see the purple spire sticking out above the canopy.
So it kind of looks like the tops of the trees are sort of voiding the top of the spire?
Yes.
Frath, I don't know if you noticed this, but maybe the thing that is causing this strange growth is at the top of the tower. Notice how at the top, that's where they start to bend.
It's a logical conclusion.
I'm not sure I like this. Do the cart tracks continue further, or is it into this area?
Oh, they just go straight by it. I mean, they're still heading straight for the mountain.
So they actually passed the tower, but they went past it?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure if it is worth our time to go into this area yet, especially if we are trying to trail this caravan. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think it is worth our time to go and investigate the tower, or avoid it entirely?
At this point, I'm just a little hesitant, and I'm staying further behind the group than everyone else, away from the tower.
Okay.
Okay. Question and answer. Cool.
I'm staying behind. I'm letting you guys talk it out.
Right. But still.
No one's answering this question. Yazata, Frath, do you guys have any opinions on this?
Not really.
I'm okay with investigating it.
Okay. So it looks like the trees get quite dense in front of you, and it might be better to actually move out onto the cart path in order to actually keep going forward. And somebody's got an alarm going on.
But I'm still I'm kind of confused. It sounds like we have somebody who wants to actually investigate the tower. Like
it looked like it sounded like Yazata thinks he wants to investigate.
No,
right.
I don't have strong feelings, but I'm okay with getting closer. Like, it doesn't hurt to check out.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we want to send Galadriel up too close to it, or shall I go? I'm not sure if this is a trap, or if they have some way to detect us when we get close.
I will follow your lead.
Okay. Why don't we have the two of you sit back a little bit so that you can see a little bit more range of the area, and call out if you see anything besides what might come from the tower. Galadriel, you and I think we should approach cautiously. I will take the lead in case something comes out. I can sort of be your bulwark.
I'll follow you in.
All right, so I'm gonna move forward, and he's gonna sit behind. These two are gonna stay behind that.
All right. So as you're moving forward, like I was saying, it becomes more obvious that the trees get really, really thick, and you're not going to be able to easily walk forward. And you feel like it would be a good idea to go out to the road and maybe get a look at it from there. Would you like to do that?
Now, when you say it looks like I'd have that, is it like a feeling that I just suddenly have, or is it more like this is probably a better angle to see what's
probably
going on?
A better angle to see what's going on.
Okay, then yeah, I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay. So as you get out onto the road, you do notice that up ahead, about 50 feet up ahead, there is a little bit of a clearing off to the left-hand side of the road, and what looks like a purple spiral staircase is just going straight up into the air.
Before we head off onto the road, I'd like to tell Sannyasa to just hold here a moment. I want to climb on to the top of a tree and see if I can get a better vantage point and see what's around.
Very well, I will stay here and hold my position.
Okay.
I'm gonna get myself into a ready position and wait. Let me know if you want me to approach closer.
Alright. So, you climb up into the tree. You don't need a roll for it. I mean, we're not in a combat situation at all. And as you get about 15 feet up, it actually becomes a lot easier to climb because you can almost sort of like walk on it. The tree is bending at like a 45-degree angle away from where the purple spire is sticking out. I mean, and as you get higher up, you do start to see the rest of what looks like a small building that is floating in the air. There are some walls around the bottom of it, and there is a staircase that goes up to a little walkway that then goes into a door on the walls going around it.
Do I recognize any of this architecture or anything?
No. It looks like someone just. It makes you think somebody just drew up a castle and made it exist. It looks like a drawing as far as like the architecture. Doesn't look like it is actually like hand built, and doesn't look like everything is nice and straight on the lines. It looks like it's kind of a little bit more sloppy in that respect.
But I'd like to. I'll climb back down and talk to Yaza. Or sorry, Zenyaza.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm not 100% positive, but that might not be real.
You think it might be some kind of illusion?
Possibly. It's. The easiest way is that I can explain it is if I were to imagine a tower in a castle and draw it for you here in the sands, if you're looking at it straight on, it looks like the thing you're thinking, but it seems like the edges start to blur out when you look at it from different angles. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm seeing. I don't recognize the architecture either. It's earlier I heard singing. Do you hear singing?
Good question, do I?
Go ahead and roll perception.
I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a 19.
No, you do not.
I do not hear any singing. Perhaps it'd be worth the attempt of maybe firing an arrow at the tower to see if it bounces. If you think it might be illusion, then perhaps we can find out from a distance instead of getting close to what might be a trap.
I actually think that with your bigger stature, you should possibly throw a rock. An arrow might be too conspicuous if it is real and it sticks into something. We wouldn't want to give that kind of first impression and whatnot. You know, just spitballing here.
Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna look. Is there any like acorns around?
Yeah, you could find it. You could find like a pine cone. Or
right, so something that might be perceived as potentially possible to fly that way, and I'm gonna throw that at the tower.
Sure.
In case you want the attack roll, because I'm doing a thrown weapon, I believe it's strength based, is it not, or is it dex still?
It's I believe. You throw it. It hits the wall and kind of bounces off. And as it's coming down, it actually kind of falls down really slow at the start. And then once it's past about 5 feet away from the castle, it just drops.
Well, it looks like whatever is there is there, but did you notice the way that it seemed to slow down at first before it fell? That seems strange to me.
There's some magic that I have no experience or ability to detect here. This isn't normal. You've got the trees, and I'm telling you, something's not quite right when I looked at it.
Do you think that it is worth our time to go investigate closer, or do you think we should skip this altogether?
I think it's right in our path.
Eladriel?
Yep.
You are feeling like a little trippy in that this has a little bit of a ring to something you heard a really long time ago. You've heard stories about it, but you don't remember everything about it.
And I can't quite just avoid the feeling like it's familiar, as if I've seen it in a vision or a dream, or maybe I was just really drunk one time. But it's unfamiliar where I know I've never been here before, but I've heard a story or heard someone else tell a story of something. I just can't quite place it in my mind. It's right in the path of where we need to go, so one way or the other, I think we need to explore or try to circumvent. From where I was, I could see that the trees are much too close together, and we're going to be unable to get past it. I just suggest being careful, and I will watch from behind. Just I am the archer, and just not quite sure if I should be the first one to approach.
I understand that. I am happy to be first in, but I still worry that if this is something from story, it might be worth avoiding entirely. Perhaps it is not related to what we were dealing with before, or what we are chasing. You see what I am saying?
I understand, but from where I was on the top of the tree, I don't see a way how to avoid. This is the path.
Why don't we bring Frath or Yazata or both over here so that maybe they can study the magic that that we see? Because this is definitely something that is not natural. The pinecone should not have stopped mid drop the way it did. And I'm going to go and grab those two and kind of bring them forward and relay the information and then do the same experiment, allowing them to see.
Okay. So you grab them, you throw a pine cone, and it bounces off of it, and then as it's falling, it actually slows down until a few feet below the actual bottom of the castle. And
do you see what I am saying? It seems strange to me. Do you guys make anything of it? Perhaps some kind of magic that I am not aware of?
I mean, it is definitely magical. There is nothing natural that would cause such a thing.
But do you recognize it at all? Perhaps we'll have a better idea if we know what kind of magic is surrounding this place.
What do I have that could help at all? I mean, somebody with Arcana would be better suited for that than me.
Yazatan, can you call upon your deity of choice and see if they have any sort of guidance here?
Well, there's a problem with that, because my deity of choice, basically, his teachings are that he leaves humans alone, and humans get to decide on their own path. So, calling on him is actually, like, super counterproductive. It just doesn't do anything.
I love that choice. Well done, sir.
That said, I would think that we should be able to... so still, none of us have detect evil or whatever, right?
No.
No. Do any of you have detect magic?
I didn't take it with me this time.
Okay.
I mean, worst case scenario, we can do a rest and refresh spells.
The cleric should have detect evil for sure. I don't.
Yeah, the cleric can detect evil. I'm not sure what level that is, but I think it's a level 1 or 2 spell.
Level 0 or level 1 spell, detect magic and detect good and evil.
Right, but the thing is, you wouldn't have it prepared. That's kind of the problem we're running into.
Right.
Well, the cleric is different, right? Cleric doesn't prepare like the wizard does.
No,
you still have to prepare the spells. You have a pool of all your magic, but you still have to prepare the individual spells for the evening. Like, you have to choose what you have per your rests, basically.
I'm checking one.
But, I mean, either way, I mean, I'll fuck it. I'll make a goddamn, Arcana roll untrained and see if I know anything, but, I mean, figure we can have at least the intelligence characters, if we have either of them, to make any kind of roll.
So, as you guys are talking, you start to hear things. At first you hear a sentence in Elvish. Now, I believe only Eladriel speaks Elvish. Is that correct? Right. All right. So Eladriel, you hear Orphan of Dead Asylum, and then in Primordial, Frath, you hear Child of the Forest, and then in Common, you all hear Lost Cleric of Gillian, and then finally in Draconic, Forsaken Child of the Silver Dragon. Then lastly in Common, you all hear and you can understand this. What brings you to my castle today?
Now, is this like a soft voice? Like, what kind of voice are we talking? Like,
it's a very smooth voice, very clear and distinctive, ringing out, somewhat, so to say, lilting, very flowing. You might consider it to be a charismatic or
Insight 12. Can I read any kind of intention with the question, like underlying tones?
General curiosity.
Okay.
And as you all look back up to the castle, you see what looks like an elf standing on the walkway above the stairs. With
and is she or he the one talking?
Yes, you definitely can see that. Anybody gonna do anything in response?
Well, I mean, after that, I'm going to simply answer then. We are traveling in pursuit of a caravan that came through here, and this seems like an oddity to us.
Well,
what is this place?
This is my traveling tent. I had to.
Yeah, I'd like to be like, that's one hell of a tent.
I was sent by my father. He felt that there was something greatly wrong in this area and sent me to investigate.
Was his name Dumbledore?
No.
Dang it.
So you were sent to investigate?
Yes. I am Andalon, son of Nindon. Son of Nin.
You said you were sent here to investigate. What have you found? It might be helpful in our quest.
Well, I have found nothing yet. Would you like to join me for tea and we can talk?
I'll make another insight check.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it as well.
That's a 19.
Yeah. He seems genuine and interested in some tea and some nice chatter.
I am not sure that we can take much time out of our quest. We have already fallen behind, but it might be worth a little bit of time. Yes.
Well, maybe we look after the same thing. Maybe we can help each other. I am looking for. Well, I'm looking for things that are coming to life.
Things that are coming to life? I mean, if you were looking for that, perhaps you should be looking more in the cities where people are birthed every day.
I'm going to take the tiny tree heart, not the big one, but the baby one, and kind of toss that at him.
And as as you toss it up to him, he holds out his hand, and it looks like the heart actually, it slows and then slowly comes up and just lands in his hand. And he looks at it for a little bit, and he says, "Yes, is this what I am looking for? Can we talk?"
I think he's a necromancer, and he doesn't know anything about this, but he's just looking for people to raise from the dead.
I think he's a pedophile.
Well, thank God none of us are children.
I'm going to look at the rest of the
come up.
We're gonna look at the rest of the group and in low tones. I am not sure it is against our quest to see what he might know. If he is looking for something that is causing the same things that we are, it could be useful to know what he knows.
There is one thing that I do notice. He never said he was coming to stop it.
Sure, but if we are trying to stop it, would it not be useful to know what is going on?
I would like to know how he can...
When did you become Kennedy?
What?
Keep going.
I said, I would like to know how he possibly found out where I'm from. No one knows where I'm from.
What do you mean?
Did you not hear him speak?
I mean, I did. We have conversed. I do not understand what you are saying.
When he first...
Just for reference, I want to double check this. Like, we each heard individually something different, correct?
You each individually heard somebody calling out what you are. So
right. But was it something that we all could hear, or was it individually we all heard something different?
You all heard several things, but you all did not understand it.
Yeah, that's why I was an assumption that everybody heard.
I thought that we had each heard those things individually, which changes a little bit how.
Yeah, that's actually what I thought too.
Right.
So
okay, with that being said, then
you all
I do
heard
not.
it all, but it was all just different languages.
I do not know most of what was said, but he did call me out in my native tongue. So I suppose that it is an interesting question that we can ask over a moment of hospitality and tea. Again, I do not see why it is against our current investigation to take a moment or two to talk to him. Unless you guys see some reason why we should not.
Can he hear us?
I'm speaking in a hushed tone, so I don't really know.
He's kind of absorbed looking at the heart that he has in his hand. And if you look up at him, you notice he's kind of... he has it in one hand, he has the other hand hold up against his chin, and every once in a while you see like sparks that are dancing around the heart.
My curiosity is definitely piqued. I think we should go inside, just be wary. Magic is afoot.
It is very obvious that this magic is afoot. He did make the object come to him at a relatively unnatural pace. But even so, I still feel like he is not looking to harm us, and any information we can gather might be helpful in our pursuit.
Just be very wary. Magic that slows something thrown is different than magic that can divine information that isn't freely available.
Give me a roll on that one, Eladriel.
Oh,
well,
right.
While he makes that roll, I have to ask the question of like,
go ahead.
This
I got a
magic that's here.
Okay.
Nice. This magic here seems fairly powerful, correct? Like, it doesn't seem like just some weak little like illusion.
It's bending trees.
Right. It feels like a fucking powerful location, right?
I
want to double check before I say something. Like,
you don't necessarily feel like there's a ton of magic flying through the area.
Sure, but it still seems like this is not weak shit, right?
It's a floating castle that's pushing trees aside. It's kind of astounding in that respect.
Right. That's what I figured. Okay, so then at the point of him saying that, I'm going to look at him and simply say, Eladriel, do you not realize that if we were something of his enemy, we would probably already be attacked or worse? I do not think that we could stand against this creature or this entity. I mean, it's a floating castle, and trees are running away from it.
And you're about to walk right into the middle of it. If that's his place of power, we are...
He already sees us. I do not understand why it would be a problem.
I'm just going to start walking towards it.
Okay.
I'm not with them on the cart anyways. I'm more interested in what this guy's doing. So.
Okay. Right. Upon seeing that, I'm going to make a last comment of, I don't see how we have any real choice. If he wants to keep us here, I'm sure he could. And I'm going to follow Frath.
And, Yazata, do you have any poems or anything going on?
Nope. I'm gonna go that direction then. If everyone's going there, I'm going in.
Alright, okay. You guys climb up the spiral staircase, and after climbing for a little bit, it starts to feel like you guys are really having to climb a long ways. You notice that as you're climbing, you look out, and it actually looks like you're a heck of a lot higher up than the top of the trees. And it starts to feel a little weird, like you guys are getting a little bit of vertigo. They eventually get up to the very top, and got about 30-foot walkway in front of you, and then straight into the door. And Andalon is standing there. He's holding the door open, and as soon as you guys walk up, he kind of remembers that you are there, and he just holds his hand out and slowly pushes it back. He says, "I will give this back to you for now." And it slowly starts floating towards you guys.
Right.
And he says, "Would you join me for tea?" And he waves himself on it. He waves inside and then walks in.
Before I move forward, I'm going to look at him and say, "Only if you offer us safe conduct under your homestead. I assume this is a place of your residence, yes?"
This was a tent given to me by my father.
Either way,
yes,
I wish safe conduct while we are within your halls.
Oh, for sure. I mean, what other conduct would there be? I mean, this is
Not-
tea.
Non-safe.
And-
Very well, and then I'm going to go ahead and walk without any hesitation.
And Frath, as you are walking forward, the heart kind of comes up to you, and then just kind of starts. It reverses course and just starts staying about a foot in front of you, so you could just grab it, but it just starts sticking around you.
Before I reach out and grab it, I'm going to try and step side to side. Does it follow or does it stay in place?
It follows.
I'm going to poke it before I grab it.
It kind of wobbles in place for a little bit, and then backs up a little bit, and then kind of moves forward again.
I will gently pick it up and place it in my pack.
And as you pick it up, you feel a little bit of something let go of it. You're not too sure what. You think it's magic, but it just lets go, and you put it in your pack.
Okay. I'm not going to bring it up, but it's noted.
Okay.
Do any of the rest of us notice this?
I certainly don't.
So Yazata was near the back. He would have noticed. I assume Eladriel and Zenyatta were near the front. So.
Well, I mean, I probably walked in first, so I would not even care.
Eladriel, you could roll a perception. Hit above a 15 and you notice.
Nope.
Okay. Alright. So, Zenyatta, as you enter, it kind of looks like there's a little bit of an entry space, and then you notice that all of the walls are full from about 2 feet off the ground to about 10 feet in the air of books. Every single wall you see ahead of you is just filled with books, and every single time you see there's a hallway, you see more books and more books and more books.
How rare are books in this world?
They generally, like, there might be a city library, but you would not be able to take the books from the library. You would be,
Right. My point being that books are something that you would keep sort of almost sacredly, right?
Yeah, books would be
they're
handed
common
down
enough,
to
but they're not like something you just sort of toss around. That's what I want to double check. Okay.
They are. You can tell that these books actually have
Okay.
got a lot of time put into them. You can notice that there's some of the spines actually have gold inlays in various languages.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, while we approach wherever his sitting room is, Zenyatta is going to say, "You've got quite a collection here. I'm not sure I have seen this many books in one location in a private study library. One of those."
Oh, as you remark on that, he says these are what my father thought I would need for this trip. He was quite concerned that it wasn't enough.
Just for this trip? It's quite a lot of books for something that may be simply a small cult using something that they should not.
This was... Well, if this is what my father thinks it is, I am not up to stop this. I must actually go get help. And as he is talking, he walks into, he gestures you into a small dining room where there's a table that can easily fit about 8 people, but it looks like the table actually goes really close to the wall, and there's just so much stuff heaped on it. There's a little place where there is a tea set, but then there's maps, and there's several different small models of different areas. And as you're looking, you do notice what looks like a small model of Esterlin. You notice the abbey in particular at the top of the hill in the center of the city. And you notice several small things about it. Several of the houses look like they've been burned. And as you notice...
In other words, it looks like it's accurate as of recently.
Yes, and you can tell that you see several different small structures. Actually, you see 11 of them. And they're all...
It looks like you've kept quite the record of what is going on in Esterlin. What do you know of what is happening in this area? As I sit down.
Well...
The fighter going right to the point, lol.
My family has been tracking this area for quite some time. My great-grandfather started in the Second Age. He was looking for the books, and we had found the Book of Lost Fires, and we found the Book of the Forgotten Winds, and we found the Book of Death, but we could not find the Book of Awakening. And he knew it was here, but we could not find it.
Do you think that the caravan that we are seeking has this book?
Well, that's what my Bible 9 is for. And as he mentions that, he gestures up to the air above you, and you notice there is a rope coming off of the side of the wall about 10 feet up into the air, and there looks to be a book that is floating, but it's flapping itself open and closed, like it's holding itself in the air.
So it's a Discworld book.
Yeah, it's a flying book.
Right on.
And it is slowly circling around the ceiling. But it's definitely anchored by the rope, and as soon as it gets to the far end of the rope, it actually it uses that as a tether to pull itself around. And at about that time, the rest of you have all wandered in, and Andalin is pouring cups of tea. And as he pours a cup of tea, he puts it on a saucer and just sets it into the air, and it slowly glides its way over to each of you. And is floating just in the air right in front of you.
Thank you for your hospitality, and I'm going to take it and take a sip.
Okay.
Is it good tea, shitty tea, death tea? What kind of tea?
I'll take the
Constant
tea, but
comment.
I'd like to kind of hang back closer to the books, and I'll pretend to take a sip.
Okay. So Zenyasa, I think it's actually pretty good quality tea. It tastes really great. Has a very distinct flavor. Not anything you've ever tasted before, but really good.
This tea is very good, thank you.
Eladrio, as you kind of fake a drink, you get a smell of the aroma, and it reminds you of your childhood. And you think you might have had something similar to this before, but it would have been a really long time ago.
I'd like to. I'll put the saucer down on the table and just wander back and just smile.
Okay. Frath and Yasuta, you guys doing anything in particular?
I'm going to dig through my collection of herbs, find some hot water, and make my own goddamn tea.
Okay. As you pull out the herbs, everyone asks if you would like a teapot, or if you would like to share your tea that you were going to make.
No, it's really more of a me thing.
Okay. So he waves his hand, and from the wall, another pot lifts itself off and comes over and sits in front of you. And this one, what he would previously use, was really, really nice. Looked like a porcelain teapot. And this one's more of just like a flat colored blue. Not so fancy. But the water, there's some water in it, and it starts to steam as you pull it off of it.
So, before we continue with this conversation, which I imagine might take some time, do we want to do a break, or do we want to wait till afterwards?
What do you guys feel like?
You can do a break.
Sure,
Time for a break.
Alright, yeah. So why don't we do a quick 5-minute break, guys, and when we return, we'll have this epic conversation with the elven dude with magic!
Conversations!
Exactly. Alright, guys, so we will return in approximately 5-ish minutes, and when we do, we'll have this fun conversation. In the meantime, y'all have a brief little fun time while we hang out.
Keep your pants on.
Keep your pants on, it's important.
No, take them off. All of it.
Well, I guess so long as you're not on camera, you can take your pants off, because we don't want to break the TOS.
I don't know if we can promote
but yeah.
that thing.
That being said, we will be right back, guys.
Pants off, dance off.
What's the thing?